With me now is Reverend Jim Corrigan, the Vicar General for the Archdiocese of Edmonton. Reverend, thank you for being here with us.
Happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Yes, a very exciting day. Tell us a bit more about all of this excitement behind this big decision.
Well, yeah, he is. There's 1.4 billion Catholics in the world, as you're aware, and he's the boss. And, Pope Francis is a great leader. And when you lose that leader, you're wondering who's going to fill the shoes of those shoes. And it looks like the Holy Spirit was at work on this one for sure. It's a pretty exciting day in the neighborhood.
So this is the first ever American Pope. In this climate, do you think this is the right time to have an American Pope?
Interesting that you asked that. I mean, it's interesting because the last Pope we had was the first South American Pope we ever had, right? And but I think probably if there was ever a time, the Holy Spirit really is such a key part of this process that I'm sure that the Holy Father, Cardinal Prevost, is the right guy for the job. And who knows? They say the Lord closes the door, but He opens a window, and probably what happened here too.
What characteristics does the new Pope bring to this role?
I don't know very much about him or what I've read, but what strikes me about him is that, he wasn't a bishop for very long before he went to the Vatican, and he had a very, very high portfolio there looking after the dicastery of bishops. But for me, what's striking is that he spent most of his life most of his priesthood as a missionary, for working with those most in need. And so that tells me he's got a heart for the people. And with that, it's pretty tough to go wrong.
Now this...
Pope Francis...
Oh, go ahead, please.
Just that Pope Francis had a very similar bent or a heart for the people, the marginalized. And this gentleman, this Holy Father, has spent a good portion of his priesthood among the same scenario,
Right. Now, this Pope was elected in the biggest ever conclave, and from what I understand, some of the cardinals, didn't even know one another. They had just met at this conclave. Are you surprised that it only took 2 days for all of these cardinals to come together and decide on the new Pope?
Nothing much surprises me. I can say that the Vatican business is so far above my pay grade that what strikes me is that they had those days together pending the Holy Father's funeral, Pope Francis' funeral, and they spent that time together. But if they didn't know each other personally, there's a pretty good chance they knew each other by reputation and that type of thing. So it's very interesting. It's a great day in the neighborhood, but yeah. I'm surprised. I don't know. They're going to keep him in that room till they chose a Holy Father. So,
do you think
I guess they figured they better get on with it.
Right. Does this signal unity, or what does this signal to you? This quick election of a new Pope.
That's interesting. I don't know what. To me, there obviously is a degree of unanimity involved there because they didn't have to go through a bunch of ballots in order to make their choice. So I think that's a really valid observation. It seems that they were probably very close to being on the same page from the get-go, you might say, and to a relatively unknown contender, if you will.
Could the fact that this Pope is American cause what am I trying to say? Sort of a sweep of Catholicism across the U.S. Do you see renewed interest or more interest in Catholicism now?
Well, previous history would show that. I mean, Pope St. John Paul II, as the Polish Holy Father, Poland is a very, very Catholic country. I think that this Holy Father Pope Leo will build bridges, and I think this will be a very positive time in the Americas, period. South and North America, because he spent so much time in Peru as well, right?
That is right. Our time, unfortunately, has come to an end. Reverend, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate your time on what is a very historic day. That is Reverend Jim Corrigan, the Vicar General for the Archdiocese of Edmonton.